few days ago, I finally submitted my definitive version of my manuscript that is headed off now to the other side of the world. That's gonna make this into a book. So it was this really good feeling because you finally get to be done with something and know that it's out of your hands and you can just let it go. And it got me thinking about stories again, and this one kind of comes from the inception of this book and the first editor that I worked with. And it's kind of a sad story, but it's also beautiful. When I first started writing, I was probably at this alone for maybe 4 or 5 months, and then one day I was talking with a friend. We were on a group ride, a group cycling ride, and he and I were both talking about our summers and what we've been doing, and we'd both been writing. And it was very interesting. And he said that he had a friend who was getting into editing and he wanted to put me in touch with him. He's like, hey, this guy, just check him out. So I ended up just finding this guy on Facebook and shooting him a message and saying, hey, I'm writing a book and I'm looking about, starting some editorial services. And he said, send me your manuscript. Let me see if it's anything I like. And if I think we can work with it, I'll give you a call. So I sent him over what I had been doing, and within 2 days, he called me back and he's like, thank you. He said, I don't normally get, writing like this. He said, this is so fresh. The voice is so unique and it's just raw and real. And I totally want to work with you on this, which was so exciting. So it was the first moment where I was really convinced that outside of my own little mind that other people in the writing world might actually find it intriguing. So he and I worked together, and what we ended up putting out is now basically what Ignite is. It's been through a lot of renditions through the years, but he and I stopped at the end of that book and we sat down and we worked so hard chapter by chapter. He challenged me on a lot of things that I had written. He made me think outside the box. He made me really sort of look critically at a lot of the things I'd written, a lot of the perceptions I had about why I would write the things that I wrote. And he really changed a lot of what I was doing, the directions that I was going in, and it just made a huge positive impact on the work. But after that book, I ended up moving forward with a different agent, taking the book in another direction, and we kind of parted ways after that. Years went by and we would touch up on the phone from time to time, just call, say, what are you doing? And, just encourage each other in writing. And I was following him on Facebook, and I knew he'd battled cancer over the years, but this time it was this past summer, he had posted a video of his family and friends decorating his house for his final Christmas. And I knew at that point that he didn't have much time left. And something inside me was like, oh my gosh, I had gone through a whole nother round of, sending out to agents, submitting to contests, trying to find a publisher. And I was like, I want him to see this book go out for real. So we'd taken it off the market and I had, rewritten it. And I was like, what, everything that we did, all the hard work that we did together, I want to put this book out and say, hey, it's done. I took it out of my hands and I'm really giving it to the world. So I was working so hard. And on the day that I got a letter from Atmosphere Press saying that they wanted to publish my manuscript, I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to publish this on my own. I don't have to do the independent thing anymore, but now I can at least send him an email and get in touch with him again and say, hey, it's going out. This work that you worked so hard with me on is going to become something. And so I shot him a message and I didn't hear anything and I didn't see him sending me anything. And then a few hours later, the friend that I biked with, the friend who connected me with him in the first place, shot me a message on Facebook and he said, hey, have you checked in with Shane? He's like, because he passed away today. And I was so sad because I never got to get him that final letter, but I did check in with him the week before and, just send him my love and thank him for all the work that he had done with me. And when I put my book dedication in there, he was the first one that came to my mind because this book would never, ever have made it without him. So I'm so grateful for our time, and it's bittersweet, but once again, it's just one of those things where on the day of, I reached out and that was the same day he passed away. Just crazy things.